The automotive industry is set for a revolution that will disrupt and reshape global business, threatening the survival of every organization. To make sure you survive and win in the new automotive game, automotive growth expert Roberto Dal Corso has interviewed global experts from the automotive industry to identify the changes and the impacts that are coming to keep you ahead of the curve.
The leading disruptive automotive trends from around the world. We've got a very special guest and friend all the way from Brazil. Originally from Brazil, but now living in the US. Marcelo, welcome.
Thank you very much, Rob. It's a pleasure, and I want to thank you very, very much for the invitation.
Thank you for making the time. I mean, I know because of the time zones, it's early in the morning, but yeah, you're sitting on a weekend doing this for us, so I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to talk with a friend from Switzerland, as well as to have a chance to discuss a little bit about the automotive industry, as well as the trends. So I'm so excited to have this opportunity.
Excellent. But Marcelo, if we look at your history, I mean, you've been, we were talking earlier, and you've been in the automotive industry now 25 years. From Brazil to the US, you've been here in Switzerland, you're back in the US. Can you just tell us a little bit about, your growth within this amazing industry of ours over these 25 years?
Yeah, I think I'm a lucky guy. I'm also an automotive guy, I would say. Yes, I consider myself, Rob, a global automotive after sales, that you know a lot, and supply chain executive. So I had a chance during these 25 years to work in the three main sales channels. So I worked for the OEM side, the original equipment manufacturer. I had a chance to work for Daimler Company, where I had a chance, especially at Mercedes-Benz Brazil. I'm Brazilian, you know that, and but also during my Daimler time working there, which is a great company. I'm really honored to have had the chance to work there. I also had a chance to work at Detroit Diesel Corporation and met colleagues from Freightliner Corporation. Freightliner and Detroit, they are one of the best brands, as well as one of the market leaders in the truck and the diesel engine market here in the US, right? That's one thing. I also had a chance to work in one of the main tier 1 suppliers for the truck or the heavy duty business, that's Meritor, where I met my friend Robbie and a lot of friends, which was a great experience in the Switzerland office, and we never forget, and it's a really international, it's a United Nations office, where you can speak 10 languages if you wish, and in a great and beautiful Switzerland country, And after that, Meritor asked me to move to Troy, Michigan, where we have our headquarters there. And after that, I was invited by a headhunter to join one of the largest car dealers in US. Now it's called Balize Motor Sales. They are a great company. Also, they have 24 rooftops and 14 brands, and they do very well also in the New England region. So I really had this experience in the OEM, in the tier 1 supplier, and retail. I think everybody that's listening to us that knows a little bit about the automotive industry. Usually it's not so common to see a OEM expert to go to the tier 1. Tier 1, I would say that's okay, but from tier 1 to go to the retail side, it's not common. So a lot of questions why you come. So I heard several years a lot of colleagues saying, Marcelo, you don't know nothing about retail, what you're doing here, you're an OEM guy and tier 1 supplier. But I think I learned a lot, and I'm so fortunately to have it there. And for sure, just to finish, I also had a chance to, during these 25 years, to travel and visit one business, unfortunately, 39 countries. I didn't join the countries, but I visited them on business, mainly dealing with sales division, the parts business, and our service business together. And for sure, when you do that in the truck, buses, vans, and passenger cars, that's what I know.
Yeah.
And and as you said, I live in Brazil. I live in Switzerland, being responsible for also the European market, as well as I lived in US, and now I'm in US. I'm located in Georgia State, and my family is still in Massachusetts, but we are moving to here. So, but that's what I think I can contribute. I hope I can contribute a little bit for your investigation.
Yeah.
Amazing automotive industry.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, you've got such an amazing background and history. What do you contribute your success over these 25 years to?
I think I could summarize in perhaps 3-4 things. I think the first thing that makes me successful is persistence.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, because not every day is the best day of your life. Not everything that you do will have the success that you're looking for in 2-3 months. And I think I'm a person that I never give up, and I keep trying, and that's one of the reasons of my success. I would also say discipline, because discipline help you to be focused and not trying to do 20 things or start 20 things and don't finish nothing.
Yeah.
I consider myself a really results-driven person. And the third thing is really the leadership style. I believe I'm pretty open, I'm pretty accessible with the things that I used to have, and my success is also related to all great things that I had in my life. And in the end of the day, I lead by example. I really lead by example. That's what I do. But I would say, if you are pretty persistent and you have the right discipline, and for sure you develop and continue developing your leadership, and I think the fourth thing that I would say, never lose your curiosity, right? The innovation side. And innovation, because we're going to talk a little bit, Robbie, but the people believe innovation needs to be like a new product or something developed by NASA and ASA. I don't believe that, right? You can innovate just doing a report that you do every day much better, or if you are an IT person, change something in the system, whatever, right? So that's what I believe.
Yeah. And in your case, I mean, the four things you've put together there, I can say that I have seen you live them, because I've really seen your never give up attitude. I've seen the discipline that you brought. I've seen the teams that you've created, so certainly those things are all in place. I think the one you missed out is you're absolutely a true professional, and I've always enjoyed working with you, and I've learned a lot from you. So I can support everything you've said up until that point in time.
I appreciate it. Likewise, Rob. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, Marcelo, over your years, you have seen the industry change, because you've worked in different continents, you've worked in different areas, as you mentioned earlier. So, I mean, when you look at the automotive industry today, where do you see the future going? I mean, I know there's a lot of talk about electric vehicles, autonomous driving. That's at the one extreme. But, what are your thoughts of where we're going, and what do you see as some of the mega trends in the industry today?
Yep, I want to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence and augmented reality, autonomous driving. But before, because I'm passionate for the after sales division, I'm really passionate. So if you remember, most probably, Robbie, you are an expert on this area. More or less 10 years ago, nobody was buying a passenger car, I'm saying, online, right? Today, if you study how everybody buys a new car, especially in the US that I'm living here today, they say that we have around 20 steps to buy a new car.
Okay.
And 80 steps are taken digitally. It's online, right? I mean, just comparison here.
Yeah.
So when you go to a dealer today and you have several options, several brands, several models that you could buy, what happens that when you go to a dealer, usually you know much more than the salesperson. You already know what you want, especially myself. When I go there, and more than that, you know, you have tools that you also know how much you should pay for the car. It's a commodity.
Yeah.
So one of the main things that is happening today in the dealer side, and for sure this affects the tier one supply and the OEMs, how we should increase the traffic in the dealers, in the physical dealer.
Yeah.
So just keep this image for now, no?
Yeah.
And if we compare with the parts business, I believe the parts business is already going to the same place, which means that more and more everybody will start buying more parts online.
Yeah.
My opinion, the dealers of all brands are behind that. So, and as a trend, you know, we never know if Amazon or any other disruptor will come and wipe out any other competitor that is selling parts online.
Yeah.
It's not, I need to say that this is a trend, yes. It's already happening, yes. I'm just mentioning that because I really believe if when you compare the car business, how you were buying the car, and now how you buy the parts, I believe that you'll be much more and more online. And I don't see the principals or the owners of the dealers or even the OEMs pushing harder for that. So that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
No doubt that the autonomous driving will come. We don't know exactly when they will come, but they will come, as well as the electric cars. That's already a reality. You can buy an electric car today if I wish. It's just a question of the pricing is an issue.
Yeah.
And you are one of the experts in marketing and product management, so you know how pricing or the price will be a key variable to introduce new products. So I believe that it's coming. I don't believe we should, that's my feeling. I don't believe we should distract of the new trends and stop doing the basics. So what's the basics? You know, customer focus really try to be the best in what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
So I was commenting with you that I'm ready to buy a new car. I'm gonna buy today, by the way. And I will not mention the brand because I don't want to be disrespectful to any other OEM. I think all OEMs have the same challenge. So when you go to an OEM perspective, I think the main challenge of the OEM is how to bring the best-in-class process and customer service in the retail side. That's the dealer in this case. And here I'm talking about truck, buses, vans, and passenger cars.
Yeah.
My case, I'm gonna buy a car, not a truck, but I'm talking about. So, what I believe, Robbie, we are still not there in customer service. So, just to give you my impression, that happens 1 week ago, and it's happening now.
Okay.
So I did my 18 steps online. I went to the dealer that's close by where I'm living right now. It's a nice dealer. The dealer physically looks good. I can't complain about that. But the salesperson, customer service is so bad. So he didn't know very well about the product. Everything that I was asking, he was reading in the information that we have when you're buying a new car. So he didn't know, he didn't follow up, he didn't engage with you. So so these type of things, I think that's the reason the OEMs and the dealers are really struggling, and also for other people. So that you also have sites that you can buy used cars without going to any place. That's other disrupting things that is happening.
Absolutely.
So that's one side, Let's talk about a little bit. I'd like to talk about the augmented reality, that's also coming. I don't know if you have seen about that, Robbie, but I'm trying to study a little bit about that. What will bring it to the user, the car user, the truck user, the augmented reality.
Yeah.
And I think there are so many applications that we still don't know. So I believe especially in your area, that sales training, project management, technical product documentation and explanation to the customer. I believe through augmented reality, you're going to start doing this much easier, much faster, and much enjoyable, I would say, from a customer perspective.
Yeah.
Especially training also. When I see an area that I'm also passionate, the supply chain, the logistics, I was reading and watching applications with augmented reality in the distribution centers, in the parts distribution centers, an example, where the material handler or the person that's picking the part will see very well where is located the part and will allow you to pick faster. Other thing that I few people is talking, and also is related to the automotive industry, is the 3D printer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but there are already some companies that are already experimenting the automotive side, printing really the part and deliver to the customer to speed up the process, the downtime, etc. So I think we can stay here one day talking. I'm going to stop a little bit, but I'm passionate and I really believe those things are already disrupting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I could say one thing for the leaders of those companies, OEM, Tier 1 supplier, and dealer, yes, people want to eye on those new technologies. They will come, they are already here, but don't forget about the basics. The basics start about really the customer service, how you greet a customer when it's coming to your facility, etc. The passion that you show that you really care about him. And I even did not buy the car, you can imagine. So.
Yeah, but it's very interesting that you mentioned that, the digitalization is critical. I mean, it is certainly one of the trends that are disrupting the industry from so many different perspectives, whether it is digitalization in 3D, printing to make parts quicker and potentially cheaper and faster, but also to the aspects of how we go and buy, whether it's cars, whether it's parts. So that certainly is a major disruptive trend. But importantly, you say that, we mustn't forget the basics. And to me, whether it's the basics in terms of, customer service or engaging the customer, really comes from a start from within the organization. And it's, you're at a executive level within your organization. The responsibility goes back to you in terms of you need to set the direction on how you lead and how you want your company to engage and be involved with the customers. Do you see that as, everyone's genuinely equal, or are there some companies doing it better than others? I know yours will be doing it a lot better because you're at the driving seat of it.
Thank you, Rob. No, I don't believe a lot of companies are doing that. Like, if we start talking about the three major sales channels in the automotive industry, I'm sure the OEMs are doing this heavily.
Yeah.
Because they have the investment capacity and they will have R&D people involved. And I'm sure they're already showing that, right? Just look at how many electric cars will be launched this year in the main markets, in Europe and as well as in US, right?
Yeah.
We discussed this way. So OEMs, I'm sure they are doing. Tier 1 suppliers, I'm not so sure. I don't believe, because I'm sure they and usually the Tier 1 suppliers will also be forced to change because of the OEM pressure, let's say this way. But from a dealer standpoint, I think they are still far away. the car dealer or truck dealer, I think they're still far away. And if we go also in the end user, which I used to visit fleet owners, large bus fleet owners, I think also they are not there yet. So that's the reason I'm saying it will change. Yes. It's already changed. Yes. Should we forget about the basics until we have everything? I would not know. I think you're gonna fail in this strategy. You know? So I believe if you wanna do something, I like when we do in pricing, Robin. You showed me this several times. The ladder pricing, where the customer, if you are selling anything like an engine, he can buy the kit, he can buy a convecting engine, a short block, whatever, until he buys the complete engine. I think that's what will start happening with those technologies, right? You're going to have several options, and you're going to have the best option that could be autonomous driving, as well as electric car or a 3D printing for a printer for a part that you're looking for or anything else. So that's the way I'm seeing right now.
The automotive industry is set for a revolution that will disrupt and reshape global business, threatening the survival of every organization. To make sure you survive and win in the new automotive game, automotive growth expert Roberto Dal Corso has interviewed global experts from the automotive industry to identify the changes and the impacts that are coming to keep you ahead of the curve.
That is very interesting. It's very interesting. And I mean, within there, you also mentioned some of the other mega trends that I see happening in, and I look at it from an aftermarket perspective, and I look at, probably the three major mega trends from an aftermarket perspective are digitalization that you mentioned. The second one is the OEMs putting pressure on the aftermarket by aggressively entering the aftermarket. And you mentioned that one. And then, a third one that I envisage also is the consolidation of the distributors. As and I mean, in North America over the last 5-10 years, there's been a lot of consolidation in the distribution network.
Oh, no doubt. And especially the last one, you talk about the dealers consolidation in all segments, especially the car dealer here that I'm seeing more involved in the last years. This is not a trend. It's happening, really happening, because the margins are so low in the car because of everything that I told you. The customer, it's a commodity now. You know everything. Like, you know how much you're gonna pay. You know more than the dealer, etc. Right? So I start thinking because if we talk about companies like Tesla, right? You can buy the car through online. That's fine. But at the end of the day, and I know you're after sales expert also, Robbie, somebody will need to serve the car, right? Somebody will need to fix the car. And even Tesla, they changed a little bit the strategy, or they're moving to a different direction, also doing their centers to make sure that the customer can serve the car, right? So, but in terms of dealer consolidation, it's very hard that a car dealer will survive with one single dealer, one single brand, if it's not top notch, which means if you're not doing everything so good, because the margin is so low. I don't want to mention the margins here, so I don't need to disclose that. But for those that are in the car dealer business, knows, as well as I would say truck and buses and vans are not so different. I work there. But it's very low. So if you don't take care about the after sales division, aftermarket division, the fixed operations, here in the US they call fixed operations, that's parts and service. I don't believe you're going to be successful because the new cars, and another thing that's happening a lot, today, Robbie, the dealers are not making money selling the car in the retail level. They making money with the bonus or the incentives that the OEMs will send it to you or give it to you if you achieve the targets, right? Or the goals. So it's not that you're selling the car and you're making money. No, usually you sell the car, make no money or less money or little money, but the OEMs recognize that you need to have a dealer, which is a smart decision, and they pay back the dealer some bonus or incentives, whatever you want to say, in terms of compensation to serve the market. Right?
I mean, there are so many changes, and as you say, I mean, pricing is getting squeezed, margins are coming down, and you mentioned earlier also about pyramid pricing, but also, I mean, again, you go back to the digitalization, and price transparency becomes a lot bigger. So you've really got almost like a perfect storm, because you've got digitalization creating a lot of issues. You've got OEMs expanding into the marketplace. You've got a lot of companies forgetting to do the basics and do them well, and everyone's under price pressure and needing to grow. And a lot of the markets are not growing. I mean, I think, Europe is going to be stable for the next couple of years when you look at in terms of sales in units. China's the big one. But outside of that, the market pressures is expanding. It's getting harder to make business today. I don't know, how do you see it in the US?
Oh yeah, no doubt. The U.S. economy, in terms of the automotive industry or car volume, it's growing the last 3-4 years. So they are beating records and records. But as you said, the problem is not the volume, the problem is the margins. Even that you are having a high volume, the competition is so aggressive that you are selling more, working much more, spending much more money, and making less EBITDA. At the end of the day, they beat the real earning before income taxes is less, right?
No, it's true. And Marcelo, just changing gear a little bit. When you look at the, your tier one suppliers that you mentioned earlier, what do you think are some of their biggest daily business challenges that they face today?
I think one of the things is the no doubt remains the gray market, right? Because the gray market will always push their product out. That's one thing. In terms of the after sales division, I would say. The second thing, I believe, as I mentioned before, the OEM will push them to invest more in new alternatives or new technologies. And not all tier one suppliers will be prepared financially to do that. And as well as you are seeing also second brands from the OEMs. That I think you mentioned very well. All brands that I was working in my previous experience, OEM brands, I'm saying, they have a second brand, or the majority of them, they have a second brand, but does not mean that the second brand is the same supplier as the production supplier, right? So this can be also an issue for the tier one suppliers, right? At the same time, the tier one supplier usually have contracts with the OEM that will prevent them to sell to the big parts retailers, right? I think you mentioned in your paperwork, Robbie, that you can sell, but it's also a contract liability if you do, and try to do that with the OEM. So they are a little bit squeezed, right? Because they need to fulfill the needs of the OEM, and we work together. How difficult it is to fulfill all demand from the OEM in pricing, in services, etc. But again, if you ask me everything that I was doing the last years, I don't feel that I sell parts or sell service, workshop, labor, these type of things. I really believe that we are selling convenience, we are selling service, we are selling the companies that are easy to deal with. You have advantage now and in the
Yeah.
Because you don't have the right system in places, or you don't have the right people, customer service in place, I believe you're already losing market share, not because of the new trends, right? Just because you're harder to deal with.
No, it's very true, and I think what you touch on there is a lot of the value added or value chain, because I think, from your perspective, some of the basics are, you launch a new product and you have to make it different. You need a unique selling proposition. And now with, products coming from all over the world, you get less and less of these 10x innovations, that these NASA projects coming out of products. So it's really about how do you differentiate your value added? And I think, customer service, convenience, making it easy to deal with, being available is part of the basics and is very, very important. But I think, the market in some things are getting caught up in the trends and forgetting to do the basics. And that I envisage as a problem.
Well, yeah. So I have another opportunity now in a different industry, and the company is right now is sold out. The product is very good, high quality, high demand, very stable market. But for sure, so what they are trying to improve it now is how to improve their internal process.
Yes.
It's easier to the customer to deal business with them. So I'm seeing that, right? It's not because of the product. The product is great.
Yeah.
How many brands we have today in terms of trucks, buses, and cars and vans? They're great products for high technological or high technology in each product. No doubt about that. It's very hard to say that you have this brand is so much advanced than the other one. But in terms of the services side, yes, we can say so. And don't believe on me, just choose a brand or choose two brands. I think this is a good exercise. Pretend that you want to buy a car. I hope you buy a new one, anyone, and try to build your model through the internet.
Yeah.
And check how easy it is to do that without asking anybody, right? Go there, just do that.
Yeah.
And look at truck also. You can do a truck, a van. Check that. If you believe you had a very good experience and you got all information an easy way with no hassle, and this I learned with you and the other colleagues in the remanufacturing business, I think they are doing a great job because, as I said, the digital world is here. And if you believe you didn't get your answers right away, or you had issues to choose your color, your trim, whatever, your seats color, and you didn't see the pricing right, and I think those companies are missing the opportunity to really go far and beyond the expectation for the customer. And at the end of the day, Rob, I think everything that we talk here, we are in an environment, and I think this way every day, I'm paid to manage expectations, right? I think in the end, I manage expectations, and it could be stakeholders' expectations, or customer expectations, or suppliers' expectations, and usually you do manage the expectations, delivering a great service. That's regardless of the product, right? Regardless, in my opinion.
No, it's true. And again, we somehow keep going back to this digitalization, and I think, it's really driving a lot of changes. And one of my thoughts behind it, and I wanted to hear what you were thinking, is because a lot of this digitalization, I think, is also driven because of the new generation employee we have, but also the new generation customer. I mean, if you think of, the new millennium, or Generation Y as it's called, I mean, today it accounts for nearly 40% of our workforce and of our customer base. By 2020, it's 50%. So that certainly is going to be one of the drivers of why digitalization is being so adapted.
It's perfectly what you said. So you're talking about the Generation Y, I believe, right, Robbie? And they are very, very highly digital. And I can give another example that in this new car buying experience that I'm having. So I have written to a dealer digitally, saying, hey, that's the car that I have. Could you please give me more information? How much you're going to sell to me? And he wants to call me. I don't want to talk to him. That's a good example of this generation Y, you know? Yeah. They are digital guys. And they don't want to talk. They just want to have the information as fast as you can and in a convenient way. So a lot of salespeople will write to me back, give me your phone, let's negotiate. I don't want to talk. And guess what? I didn't talk. I didn't talk. And I will not buy from those guys because I don't want to talk.
And you're still going to buy a car without talking.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk. Actually, if I could not talk, it would be better. In this case, because I know what I want. And again, and welcome back again for the digital world. I already have all information.
No, it's true. It's amazing. And I mean, I know we are the older, more traditional style within the automotive industry, but you take a look at our kids and the way they've grown up with iPhones digitalized. I mean, they have never known a world without this. So, you know, that's amazing.
Exactly. I have a beautiful daughter, 8 years old, and she was born in a world that already have iPads, iPhones, internet. She does not know what's a fax. So ask her about that, right?
No, it's very true. So, Marcelo, almost one of the final questions, because I know you need to go out and buy a car, but if someone was wondering, you know, call it a tier 1 parts manufacturer, wanted to come and enter into the US market, what words of advice would you have for him?
I would say, first of all, make a clear and a very good in-depth study about your competitors and try to find a niche, or at least if you're starting, right, from scratch. I think that's your question. Try to find something or create something that really your market is willing to buy or to pay for a service or product, and nobody's doing. Right? I know it's hard. I'm not saying that it's easy. If everybody would have that information, a paper and a book, we would be millionaires. But I think that's what I would try. Don't try to bring the same products or the same things that everybody already doing, right? If you could do something very simple, but that will fulfill a demand that's necessary. I think that's the way you can start bringing more products, and after that, yes, you're gonna have already a brand that's being recognized for something. Because if you just come back to the car business, one more model to US, just to answer your question, I think you're gonna be one more. If you're just a new brand or a new manufacturer, in my opinion, right? And that's the reason you're seeing consolidations also the OEM side. So more and more. Now this is coming. It's not new. I'm not saying that's new. Just saying that continues happening, right? So I would say and be prepared. If you believe you're gonna be successful in what you're doing, this niche or this market, be prepared for the uplift, right? Don't supply or provide a very good service for 10 customers, and after you start selling for 100, and you cannot deal with because you're gonna fail. So I think that's the mentality. And my last advice: remember, you're not selling a product, you're not selling a service. I would say you're really selling a convenience, a convenient aspect that someone is willing to pay you for that service, I would say.
No, very, very wise words, which I'm sure will be very useful to a lot of people to know that. And changing gear totally now, what are your passions outside of business?
I would like to ride a bicycle as you do, Robbie. You still ride, I'm sure, right?
I do.
But I don't know. I think my passion really, I have a Brazilian soccer team that I really love. It's called São Paulo Futebol Clube. It's the best team in the world. We're not doing very well right now, but I really want to watch their games. That's the first thing that I do. I also like to swimming a little bit, and right now I'm not having a lot of time to do that, but and I think enjoy life, enjoy my family, and but I would say the soccer side is still my passion. I still like a lot of the soccer. I like to watch other games, especially in Europe. So that's what I could say to you, Rob.
Oh, that's going to be good. And this summer, are you going to have some time to watch the World Cup in Russia?
Oh, I will never miss that. You can be sure.
So,
I will be one of the fans. And the only thing that I'm very sad that the first game, I'm not wrong, is Brazil against Switzerland. And I'm a fan of the Switzerland team as well as the country. So I would not like to see this right now. If it was the final, that's okay, but not as the first game. But I really respect a lot of the Switzerland country as well as the Swiss colleagues that I made during my time over there.
Yeah. No, Marcelo, all I can say is thank you so much for your time. You know, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up and talking to you and exchanging some fantastic ideas. So I can only say thank you and good luck for the World Cup.
Robbie, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think I'm honored to have you and to invite me for this chat. And thank you for your time and congratulations what you're doing. I think you're doing a tremendous job and helping the automotive industry at least to listen to other point of views. I think each one has a different opinion, but you nailed it in several trends that is happening, and I think it's great the job that you're doing.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. But again, thank you, and we'll stay in touch. But thank you so much, Marcelo.
I hope that you have enjoyed and found value in watching this interview. If you want to learn more about the leading disruptive automotive trends impacting the industry, check out www.dalcorsogroup.com. I encourage you to share it with colleagues that will appreciate great industry insights. Join us tomorrow for more experts from around the world.